Everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Cozy Christopher. Listen, I wanted to do this first follow-up to my original video for the Samsung S95B of my first impressions. My first impressions were kind of all over the place, and that was due to some processing things, that was due to some settings things, etc. And so I guess before I jump into the gaming video, because gaming on this television is phenomenal, and so we're going to jump to that real quickly, but before I get to that, I want to tell you my perspective. So there are a lot of YouTubers that you can watch and listen to that will discuss the technological limits or capacity of a product, if you will. And I am not typically that person. And the reason is because although I may know that information, I typically come from the standpoint of a consumer and what the average consumer will use. Whereas myself, I may be a pixel peeper, I may be a pay attention to the details and all of those particular things. The average consumer typically will use a product as is for the most part, and then your niche groups like your enthusiasts, etc., will really take advantage of the full use of the television. And so, okay, jumping into gaming, let's go through the settings on the Xbox Series X so you can see what the TV is capable of. You can see that it supports 4K UHD, 1440p, 1080p, as well as 720. You can also see that it supports the 4K 120 Hertz refresh rate, but you will also see that red circle with the cross through it that it does not support Dolby Vision for gaming. And moving over to sound, you will see that this TV is Dolby Atmos built in, and then the Xbox can send that signal via the HDMI. Okay, moving over to the actual settings of the television, you're going to want to go into your device manager, your external device manager, and you're going to want to look at your input signal plus. Now, your input signal plus determines the bandwidth signal going across the HDMI from your source gaming console to the television. If you do not enable this, you will not get the full bandwidth, and you may be limited to 1080p resolution. Okay, so next we're looking at the picture profiles. And the reason we're looking at the picture profiles is because this particular television does not have Dolby Vision gaming. And so that means that you are stuck or relegated to a flat picture profile, or at least most gaming modes have a flat picture profile. And so if you're a fidelity person like myself, then you have to, or you may look at these picture profiles instead of the gaming mode. Now, the problem that causes is that if you do a regular picture profile, you are now introducing that very large lag or very slow response times, if you will. And so looking through these picture profiles that make sense, dynamic, movie, and then filmmakers mode, each one of them will give you different looks and different color presets that may give you the picture that you're looking for. Now, if you're a gamer though, then of course you're going to be looking at the gaming mode, and you're going to use the gaming mode every time you play the game, right? And so within the gaming mode, of course, there's standard picture presets for between like standard RPG, FPS, etc. But the standard, I guess, picture of the gaming mode is pretty flat, as you can see. And so this is where the loss of Dolby Vision is huge, because Dolby Vision allows you to have a contrasty, saturated, very well color, native color space, HDR color, while still having extremely fast response and extremely low lag, if you will. And so the only way that you can get that with this particular television that is focused more on the HDR10 Plus or HDR10 Plus gaming, which hasn't been widely adopted, is that you have to actually go in and set your picture settings yourself using all settings, and then going to expert settings within the picture settings. Now, keep in mind, when you do this, you're introducing lag and or slow response times with each thing that you turn on, if you will. And so you can go back and control the basics, which are the brightness, contrast, and sharpness, which it doesn't have a lot of range. And so I hate these because these sliders, because they're so short that you really don't get to change a lot, and you don't have a lot of control over it, and you kind of have to rely on very small windows of improvement, if you will. But from there you can go into the actual advanced settings and adjust things like the color or contrast enhancer. And as you can see, if you turn that off, now you're getting a better picture there, which kind of weird for me that if you turn it off, it gives you a better picture with more contrast. But for gaming mode, I'm assuming that that takes away lag by taking that contrast out. And then the color tone, you know, I go back and forth between warm 1 and warm 2. Like, I know it's more natural for colors to be warm and not cool, and so, but between warm 1 and warm 2, I'm not really, I keep going back and forth. And again, I'm Fidelity, so keep that in mind. And so from there, color space, as you see here, you can go through normal, which is kind of what the normal is for the game mode. You can go to native, which is what the HDR, content may look based on the game. But you can also go to custom. And when you go to custom, you have the ability to change a lot of different settings around the pure RGB and the and the actual color space, if you will. From there, peak brightness I really struggle with. So putting the peak brightness on high tends to wash the colors out to my eye. And then putting it on medium is like the happy medium for me. Now that you have this extra brightness in this OLED panel, you kind of want it, and so it's hard to turn that off and kind of leave it where the LG panels would kind of sit. And so I put it in the middle, which for me, it gives me the best picture. And let me know your thoughts or comments in the section below. But at the end of the day, you're going to set these settings to what is pleasing to you and what gaming performance is tolerable to you. So if you're okay with higher response times and higher lag, or slower response times, higher lag, then you can add whatever you want. You can even use the picture profiles. Again, at the end of the day, it's your gaming experience and you kind of do what you want. But for me, this is the happy medium where it's a great picture, but it also is still in gaming mode. And so how is it as a gaming television? Oh my God, this is where all of the pluses of OLED comes in. This is where now the QD-OLED also steps in. The vibrancy, the saturation, the color, the tonality, the deep contrast with the pure colors, the brightness, the peak brightness. This TV is phenomenal at gaming, minus Dolby Vision. But take a look at this scene here.
I'm here to take a bullet, standing by your side. I'll do anything for you, anytime. I'll carry you on my shoulders, a little heavy as time goes by. You know it's not forever, but for a little while.
So the reality of the Samsung S95B is that minus Dolby Vision gaming, there is absolutely no weaknesses for this television. It has the full bandwidth, 4K 120 Hz at 48 gigabytes per second. It has complete contrast and pitch blacks, natural, complete blacks that an OLED would give you. It has the brightness and vibrance of your QD-OLED or QLED panels. So it has the color, it has the accuracy, it has the fast response, it has the low lag, It has just, I mean, look at the contrast in this scene and how the light is able to flash around the room and reset. I mean, at this point right now, just the vibrance of color, the gradient of color, the specular highlights, the not crushing of dark scenes, the, oh my goodness, there's just everything you need from a gaming standpoint. This television has, and keep in mind, this is fresh out of the box with minor tweaks of color, space, and what have you. You all saw the settings. I mean, those are the settings I'm playing on right now. And again, you know, this is the first, like, I have several LG OLED televisions, and I've thought about calibrating them in the past, but this is the first time where I feel like it's almost an absolutely no-brainer that I'm gonna go out and get the software and hardware to calibrate this television to get everything I possibly can out of this. This, from a gaming standpoint, minus Dolby Vision gaming, this is everything that you would want in a television. And for me, that's the only thing, the Dolby Vision is the only thing that's really stopping me from saying like this is it. Now keep in mind, the reality still exists that this is probably the best television on the market, hands down, as of right now. But until the Sony A95K comes out, I'm not sure if this is the best television this year. That's still to be determined. And so I'm excited for this television and gaming right now, and I'm anxious to see what the Sony A95K offers here in the near future. As always, stay cozy in that crazy world, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.